Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the new screensavers is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com. The new screensavers is brought to you by Braintree. Mobile app development can be complex, but integrating your payments no longer has to be. With Braintree, your business can accept nearly every type of payment from any device with just one integration. Learn more at braintreepayments.com/NSS. And by Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage brings the mortgage process into the 21st century with a fast, easy, and completely online process. Check out Rocket Mortgage today at quickenloans.com/NSS.
Serving up Pokemon Go or not, the $50 Linux computer that fits in your pocket, and make your own circuit boards? Live from the Twit Studios in beautiful Petaluma, it's the new Screensavers.
From the chat room. He lives in the Inland Empire. Came down here just to do the show. But thank you, Keith. Appreciate it. Great guy. Hello, Father Robert.
Hello. Hello. I'm melting. It's kind of hot outside.
Is it hot out there?
It's a little warm. Yeah.
Well, if you wouldn't wear black all the time, don't they let you wear some other colors?
I'm
like
a solar panel. This is very efficient.
You should need like a floral print.
Like, eco-friendly.
Yeah. It's new screensavers time, episode 62, Saturday. This is Saturday. Today's Saturday, July 16th,
Saturday.
2016, or as many of us call it, day 10 of the Pokemon Go era. It is.
I have not surrendered to the Go
what?
thing yet. No.
You're a big Ingress player.
I was a huge Ingress player, but that's why I'm not. I will love Pokemon Go, but the problem is that's all I would do. You would not see me for the next 3 months.
Did you have to swear off Ingress because you had a little problem?
It was, offering me Pokemon Go is like telling an alcoholic, hey, it's one beer.
It's not the same.
It's just one beer.
This is different. It's got little characters in it. So Pokemon Go, which is a lot of fun, is taking the world by storm. And when I say the world, I mean it because they keep... Niantic! Don't roll it out in any more countries. You can't keep the servers up in the countries you're in now. They started in U.S., Australia, New Zealand. They added quickly Germany, the UK, Portugal, Italy, Spain, and I think they've even added more countries. And the problem is they haven't been able to scale this thing worth a dang.
They added North Korea. That's where the really rare Pokemon
Did they add North Korea? No. Okay. They're actually living there.
You have to fly to North Korea to get Mewtwo or something? That would be amazing.
They have a little thumb drive. Each week you get a thumb drive and you can figure out whether you got any Pokemon for that. Oh, wait a minute.
You're actually playing right now.
Shh, quiet. I got to I keep running out of Pokeballs, so whenever, there you go. Okay, I'm done. I'm stopping now. I can stop anytime. It is a very addictive game, and they've been down a lot.
Yes.
In fact, they were hard down this morning, and a hacking group called Poodle Corp claimed responsibility. Whether you believe that or not, I don't know. I think it could just really be nobody ever possibly in their wildest dreams expected a game to spread this fast, this quickly.
It didn't sound like they needed a hacking group to take them down.
No.
They were dying
down.
under the strain of their regular customers.
I've seen articles guessing on their stack. Apparently, they're running a Google Code Engine, which seems kind of like not the most scalable solution to begin with.
It's not, but remember, it was part of Google. Niantic started as a Google thing, and then it split off with some seed money from Google, from Nintendo, and it's become its own thing, but it inherited most of its engineering staff from Google. So they're running on a Google stack. But at the same time, they're making an API call to Google Maps to get the mapping information from them.
So that's part of the problem is it's all these different things they're going around and collecting this information.
Right. It's the same issue that they had when Ingress got really popular. And when I say really popular, I mean at the height of its popularity, Ingress was maybe 1/100th of what Pokemon is right now.
Already.
But the game is synchronous, asynchronous. It switches back and forth because what they figured out was you can entice people to play the game if you make the field feel like it's alive. It's not a static thing. So it actually does take input from other players. The problem is some things you can kind of make happen when the server is available, and some things have to happen right away. Like, for example, in Ingress is when you captured a portal. It had to update across all the devices that the portal had been captured. In Pokemon, if they put a Pokemon in the field, they don't want 5 million people to capture the same one.
But it is true that if there's a Pokemon locally, everybody in that area will
Correct.
see the same Pokemon. So they are doing this kind of shared server architecture, which is...
It's tricky. It's very, very tricky.
Yeah. It is really fun, and even though the server's been down and people are complaining like crazy, I don't notice any lack of enthusiasm for it, and it's really interesting. They had a pub crawl in San Francisco, I think was it Wednesday or Thursday night? It was a Pokemon Go pub crawl. So you were going around from pub to pub hunting Pokemon with other pub crawlers. 21,000 people signed up for it. 21,000 people. If you go to a park in our little town, it's full of Pokemon Go players. Wherever there's a lure, wherever there's a Pokestop, you're going to see players. We went up to Santa Rosa, the big city for us, the county seat, and it was really interesting on Friday night. What I liked about it is it reminded me of how it used to be years ago, where on a Friday night people would go downtown and wander and stroll and say hello to each other. Now, admittedly, people are doing a lot of this, but at the same time, it's still much more social, and there are people around, which I think is... You don't buy that.
Well,
as an Ingress...
Yes, the people are there. They're completely ignoring everyone around them because they just want to catch the Pokemon that they're looking for.
Not so. Well, I guess it depends on the player. But because of the teams, and there are 3 now instead of 2 factions as there were in Ingress, the great conversation starter is Team Red, Team Vala. And they go, no, I'm yellow. And you go, oh, why I oughta. And then you say, well, I just took away the Pokegym over here, and there's conversation develops, and isn't this fun? So it feels more social, maybe more so than Ingress was, one of the reasons I didn't like Ingress, it did feel very solitary. You were going around, but it was just you hacking, right? And you really wouldn't start up a conversation. But it does change the equation when everyone around you.
Right.
Here, this is in
That's
LA.
in New York, right?
Or New York? Central. Oh, this is Central Park.
So someone found a Vaporeon.
There's a Vaporeon that's on right there, so everyone's running.
Now, people are going to say that's dangerous.
Well, that car's abandoned. There's no driver in that car. The guy got out at the beginning of the story.
Oh, don't do that.
This never happened in Ingress. We did have mobs moving through cities, but we never did that.
I'm telling you, this is much more social. And there's a sense of fun around it that Ingress kind of was a dark game, and this is a more fun game. But it's interesting because all the Pokegyms and Pokestops are Ingress locations.
Yes, that's where they got the data from. In fact, if you look at the picture that shows up when you go to a Pokestop, that was ported over from Ingress.
From Ingress.
So someone made the portal, they took a picture, and they just took that information and they brought it over into the game.
And for some reason, at least in Petaluma, every mural in town is a stop. Is that because Ingress players like murals? A mural across the street.
It all had to do with how Niantic was approving portals.
Okay.
So the portal had to have some sort of significance. It had to be big enough that people could see it. So murals are really easy to do.
And murals a little safer because it's not a place of business. It's not a home. So you kind of know, it's just a painting on a wall, that it's kind of a safe thing to approve. That's our mural across
on my
the street.
home, or around my home, on my campus, we have about a dozen portals, and one of them turned into a gym for Pokemon. So there are always people gathered outside of my room, and I can just stare at them. You know who they are.
Oh, you could tell. You could tell. And just in case you haven't noticed, they have a somewhat far away look. They stare at their phone. Now, you don't have to stare at your phone. You can, in fact, if you turn on battery saver and you turn your phone upside down, the screen goes blank. You don't have to turn off the phone. You can put it in your pocket. It will buzz when there's a Pokemon nearby. So you're looking for somebody that goes...
Right, exactly.
And then like that.
Now
you know they're playing.
That is exactly why I'm making a device for know-how called Pokemon Stop.
What?
Because I've watched people bump into signposts, into walls. My favorite was someone bumped into a glass window.
Oh, that's not good.
We have
Hold
that
on a second. I got to keep
Pokemon
going.
Stop, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is actually just a little project that we had in know-how a while back. It uses an Arduino and an ultrasonic sensor. And what it does is when you get close enough to it, it has a little vibrator motor that starts to go. So you can set the distance to warn you.
I put this in my hat and then have the vibrator attached to my scalp.
Right.
And as soon as I start walking into something, it's going to go, stop.
Right, and so for about $5, just the price of these parts and a little bit of coding that I already did, you can make a button, you can make a hat. So as long as it's looking forward, you could be looking down at your phone and it will give you a little vibration when you're about to run into something.
You know, it's important to note that in a gold rush, the people that make the money are not the gold miners, but the people selling stuff to the gold miners. That's how Levi's got started. I think this is a brilliant idea. You could get funding for that right now.
And I already made the badge, so it's the Team Valor badge, but it has TWIT on the bottom. So it's all 3D printed, and it will just go right here.
I think we're getting T-shirts made. That was my goal. Are you on Valor? Oh, you're not playing.
I'm not playing yet.
I
want to see how long I can hold out. Maybe a week.
Kara, Valor? Yeah, you're getting a T-shirt. Tanya, Valor? Valor! Anthony Nielsen?
Valor.
He's our highest ranked Valor player now. He's almost 17, level 17. I'm a mere 14 and a half. I'm a punter compared to
Twit him on.
Twit him on.
Gotta stream them all.
Oh, that's the other thing we're doing, right? We're nicknaming all of our creatures to kind of indicate the twits involved. Although I did see somebody made an Abra named Donald Trump. I thought that was a good idea. You know, I don't know. It kind of looked like, I don't know. What I got to ask you, because I see this around the studio all the time.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing here? Is this a
Grow How?
Is this a Peapod Grow How? A Peapod Xerox machine? What is this?
This is actually a little device that was sent to us by Miracle Grow. We have this one and the larger one.
The fertilizer people.
Well, yeah, it's basically a Keurig machine, but for growing things. So there are these little pods that you get. You pop it in here, and this handles everything. The nutrients, the watering, the light, this will turn on and off as necessary. So it's, put it in, leave it, and 6 weeks later, you've got a harvest.
I mean, I'm looking at the box, and it's a very lush. Does this go up?
Oh, yeah. So when it starts to rise, you just lift that up.
So you think you're going to get this lush garden?
I've already tried this at home, and it was perfect. Everything germinated, everything turned out nicely.
Well, it's only been a few days. This is growing faster than Pokemon Go at this point. This is pretty amazing.
That's a week. That's a week worth of growth, and then these are going to explode next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are you growing? Peas?
We've got basil. We've got a little bit of salad greens, and I think we have rouge de vert.
Rouge de vert is not going anywhere.
Well,
I think you got a dead rouge de vert.
The seed was way down there, so it's tiny.
Oh, it's teensy. And you keep the little lid on the little greenhouse on
the
there?
humidity dome. So it's fun. We've been on Know-How, we've been sort of focusing on growing technology, green technology. So everything from watering devices to growing devices.
I'm excited about aquaponics and the idea to
we'll be doing
use fish to fertilize the plants that you're growing. They grow in a hydroponic environment. It's a very interesting thing. Gary Koffler, you saw it. We did a segment with Gary, who's a friend of the network, and he's doing aquaponics. He did it for school. It's fascinating.
I never used to like growing things because I'm horrible at it. I've got a black thumb. But once you start getting into the science and the actual technology that you can use, I gotta say, it's one of the most fun projects I've done for Know-How.
I saw a great talk by Elon Musk's baby brother. I can't remember his name. Kirby Musk? That doesn't sound right.
I think that's a Pokemon.
Anyway, Mr. Musk Jr. Was doing a talk. He said the next big thing. He said the solving hunger on the planet is not hard. It's not a question of lack of calories. We're producing more calories than we need. It's a question of distribution.
Right.
And the key is going to be to get small, compact, but affordable grow devices spread all around the world so people can grow their own food. Interesting. That's exciting. I'll be watching that.
Oh yeah.
So earlier on the show, in fact, I think it was episode 3 or 4, about more than a year ago, May of last year. Episode 4? Yeah. We interviewed the folks from C.H.I.P. Remember, they had a Kickstarter for a $9 computer, raised $2 million. The chip is done. Bad. We were the first, I think, to show it. I'm very excited. Now they have a new PocketCHIP, which is Linux in the palm of your hand. I'm very excited about that. So CEO Dave Rauchwerk is here to show us the new thing. We're going to take a look at CNC milling. Oh. You could do this in your home. This is the new 3D printing. It's not just 3D printing now. You're doing drilling and milling and you're making metal things.
Well, I mean, 3D printing is nice for fast prototyping, but if you can get a competent CNC machine inside your lab, I mean, you can make pieces that actually go into production.
So this is relatively affordable. And it'll even do custom PCB boards, which is very interesting. We're going to answer a call for help, and a lot more. Actually, let's go see Dave right now.
Let's do that. Yeah.
All right, we're going to go over and take a look at the new chip. And I ordered the chip when Dave was on. You've been shipping. Hi, Dave. Dave Rauchwerk,
good to see you,
CEO
Leo.
of CHIP. You've been shipping the CHIP $9 computers out, yes?
Oh, yes. So everyone who's confirmed their address online has received theirs from the Kickstarter campaign, and they're in 140 different countries right now.
That's
We've
exciting.
made hundreds of thousands of them.
This is the CHIP.
So yeah, that's in the box.
It's a full computer in what? I mean, it's kind of like a Raspberry Pi, or?
Yeah, so it's a full computer. It's got a 1 gigahertz processor, 512 megs of RAM, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, battery power, and charging. It's all built in.
Let me open this up.
Now,
It's
I got to ask.
sealed.
I mean, there's all sorts of Arduino clones. There's Raspberry Pi out there. It's a crowded market, and they're all low-cost computing
they're
devices.
not $6.
They're not $6. But I mean, what made you think I can jump into this market and immediately find a niche, something that's going to set my device apart from everything else that's out there?
Well, you have to sort of go back to how we started, and we talked about this with Leo. Originally, it was the idea that we were trying to build a $99 animated gift camera. And so what's really different about what we were trying to do is we wanted to build something that was specifically geared towards help people solve this problem of building things. And we wanted it to have everything inside of it. So the storage, the Wi-Fi, the battery power, the charging. While it seems like kind of a random collection of things, it's actually comes from our experience building products. And so we wanted to make it really, really easy for people to go from idea to thing.
And that's it. That's it right there.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. All right, and this is really cool. The new thing you're doing, so that was $9. This is $49. It's the PocketCHIP, and this I'm really excited about. In fact, I forgot that I'd interviewed you. I saw this online, and I said, I gotta get one of these, but you showed us this in May too. Just shows you I'm getting old. So this is the PocketCHIP, and what it really is a full Linux computer plus keyboard. I love this for the stand.
Oh, yeah.
Was that
any number 2
intentional?
pencil is very intentional. So the other side is actually big round stick size. So.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. And this one's got Ticonderoga octagon on it, or hexagon. That's really, really cute. So the idea is this has a touch screen. What's the resolution on the touch screen?
It's 480 by 272.
480 by 272. It's got a full keyboard, QWERTY keyboard. It's got it's containerized, right? There's the battery. And there's room in the container for more. In fact, some people are already putting music and other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So we actually designed it so that you could prototype inside of it and take it apart. So it has no glue and no screws, and of course the entire thing, the hardware, the software, all the designs are completely open source. So people are already 3D printing their own enclosures. They're modifying it. We have this little fun one that we did, which is a VR 3D, headset that snaps onto it. We call that PocketCHIP. So for all your favorite homebrew Virtual Boy games.
This is like a Virtual Boy, isn't it? So what's really cool about this is, so not only do you have Debian running on it, kind of a stripped down Linux OS, but Debian is like genuine. You also have a UI. So I just pressed the home button. What am I getting? What is this?
Yeah, so this is pretty much how it comes. Actually, there's a couple of hacks in here that we found from the community on the forum to change the icons and install new apps.
But those are on GitHub, right?
They're all on GitHub. It's all on our website on getchip.com. And then the terminal right there is a full-blown Linux terminal. Yep. So that'll load up. And
with a bash shell and everything.
Bash shell. I'm a Zeesh guy myself, but bash is what people seem to like more.
Zeesh. Actually, I'm kind of into fish lately these days.
I've not used it, yeah.
I could easily add that, right? Because
so sudo apt-get install fish, or simple as that.
And is this internet connected?
It is actually. So if you press the home button, which is right at the bottom, you can press the gear, and then you'll see full Wi-Fi configuration.
Oh, look at this.
It's graphical, and then also
my goodness.
Brightness. And we tried to make it as the most Linuxy, un-Linux experience as possible. So it was no struggles of setting it up and getting started.
And this is running on the $9 chip computer?
This is the $9 computer powering the whole thing, and it's also removable. You can pull it out.
The other thing that's kind of cool is there's how many games on here?
Well, so if all the tens of thousands of games in the Debian repo, and the community is working really actively to port them to PocketCHIP, get the screen size right. But then we have this awesome thing called Pico 8, and so your 2 buttons here are right there.
Is that my jump? Okay.
Yep. So what's cool about Pico 8 is a fantasy console that allows you to not just play the games, but also change them. So if you want to make this game easier, you can actually press escape.
Where's the escape? Over
there
here.
we go.
Okay.
Yep. And then click edit this cart.
What?
So just
edit this cart?
So use the D-pad and then press enter, yeah. And then you have the Lua source code for the game.
This is the code?
That's the actual source code for the game. And
so I can modify my code
in real time, and there's a built-in music tracker and editor. And it's really exciting because people who never really knew how to program but were interested in how these things worked are actually learning how to program by playing these games and hacking them to make them easier. And so there's thousands of games being created by the Pico 8 community, by the chipsters out there, and they're all completely open source, and you can actually exchange them with other people through steganographically encoded images. So when you export them, it's just a little PNG file that you can share with anyone, and all the Lua code is built in.
Into the picture?
Into the picture. It's really cool. Yeah.
So this is really kind of amazing. Lua is a pretty straightforward, easy-to-use scripting language. I think people could wrap their head around it. It's Series C-like, and it's
it's other than the one index arrays, which kind of bug me. It's pretty standard, and the cool thing is like EA uses it in all the scripting in their games. Right. So it's a limited dialect of Lua, but totally compliant. So if you learn to do things on PocketCHIP, you could potentially actually work in the real gaming world and make stuff with it.
Oh, this is amazing.
You know what I love about this? It's the fact that you could give this to a young person, and it's a self-contained device, but then they can start playing with the headers as they get more knowledge. They can actually start building projects with this. There are people in our chat room who are saying, wait a minute, I can get a Raspberry Pi 3 for $35 and do the same thing. And that's true. But if you get a Raspberry Pi 3, you're assuming that they can assemble it and figure out how to install the distro.
And by
this
the
is
way,
good to go.
$35, but then you have to buy the screen.
Right,
that was another $150. And then you have to make a box or buy a box. Oh, let's not forget, we need a keyboard. It does add up to a lot more than $49.
This is really fun. We've tried to make the thing that was kind of we imagined we had when we were 15.
Bring that over here so
so we can see it. So actually it has no glue and no screws. Maybe you can do it, Leo. Just rip it apart.
Oh, all right.
Don't ever tell Leo to rip something
apart. All right, pull the face off.
Okay.
Now flip it over and pull the chip out, sort of wiggle it front to back.
This is the module?
Just pull it, pull hard.
Really? Am I going to break it?
You're not going to break it. Go ahead. It's in there, pull.
Go ahead, you do it.
Oh, you're nervous. All right,
I'm
just
scared.
pull it out.
Oh, I see. It was
all right. And then we just pull this right here, and so the whole thing just comes apart.
Nice.
So
now this is the third-party community-created sound system.
Yeah, Jose at the office actually came up with this, and everyone's been adding it. So they add their own speaker to PocketCHIP in the little proto area. And there's actually people building keyboard overlays and like game controllers, and someone actually added SDR dongle to it so they can do all kinds of hack RF stuff with PocketCHIP. It's pretty wild to see what the community's been doing.
You've even got GPIO at the top, so GPIO at the top, so you could easily add your own projects to this. What's nice though is this is kind of the kit standalone is enough to give a kid and say, here's your new game machine.
Right. And when you grow up, you could use this to make the next billion-dollar idea.
Maybe when you get bored with the game, you could enter Lua and change it around a little bit, add some new features.
Absolutely.
Wow, I really like this idea. GetChip.com.
You got it.
And so how was the response? You feel pretty happy about it?
It's been phenomenal. I mean, we had 40,000 people in the Kickstarter campaign. We've had tens of thousands upon that every month joining the community. And just the forum, like, bbs.nextthing.co is like exploding. And it's really cool to see the hardcore Linux guys support the people like, I just got PocketCHIP and I just want to play with Pico 8 and I'm lost. Can you help me?
Right.
And to see these two communities collide and just sort of grow is so awesome.
That's so neat.
You know what? I'm going to take one of these with me to DEF CON. I'm sure we can do something with it in the hardware hacking village.
What are you talking about? This is this year's DEF CON badge.
There we go. Actually, yeah, it's an electronic badge this year.
Wouldn't it?
Perfect.
Wouldn't it be good? Be perfect. I'm really thrilled that you guys are doing so well. This was a great project. I was really excited about when I saw it. And I have to think that this PocketCHIP is very popular, right? I mean,
it's kind of crazy. They're kind of hard to get. So you're going to have a couple of them, which are pretty rare. We're working now to scale the manufacturing because people are actually selling them on eBay, which kind of defeats the purpose. We want people to be able to get them.
Yeah.
So,
well, don't give me two. I bought one, and you just
maybe
saved
you
me
can
the
give
shipping.
one away.
We can do that. We'll find somebody who can take advantage.
A worthy member of the
I'm
Twin
really
Army.
excited. The PocketCHIP, the power to change the game. GetChip.com, and you're still selling the $9 chip as well. So if people are more do-it-yourself focused, like just think what you could do. It's no bigger than a banana, ladies and gentlemen. half as big as a banana. I always think this would be perfect because I've always wanted to make a Harry Potter picture frame.
Oh, the moving picture frames.
Yeah. Because I wanted to do this of our staff, right, and just hang pictures of everybody, Father Robert, and it'd look like he's sitting there like this, and every once in a while you go, and then he'd go back. It'd be fun.
Candy bar.
You should see our $10 Amazon Echo tutorial that someone did.
What? You can make an Echo? Oh, that's right. The Echo's available now. The software's available now, isn't it? Yeah. That is very cool. Dave Rauchwerk, he's the CEO of CHIP, which stands for C.H.I.P.
It's a secret, Leo.
Really?
It is.
But you put the dots in there. You're telling people.
There's something there. There's something there.
Computer-human interface people.
GetChip.com. Thank you so much. Great to see you. I'm kind of glad we could circle back and see the success of this. This is fabulous. And the Poculus. Do you have plans for this on the site?
They're available on our GitHub. You can 3D print them. It's perfect for all your favorite homebrew virtual games.
PocketCHIP.
I'll print you one of these tonight, Leo.
I love it. Will you?
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a little break. Coming up, Jason Howell with a review of some new Bluetooth speaker system. We're going to have a lot of fun with the CNC Miller. We're going to answer Grant from Akron, Ohio's question. We got a lot more to come on the new screensavers. But first, a little word to our mobile app developers in the audience today. I know it's fun making your own stuff, creating a new app, maybe a great website. And for many of you, you'd love to have e-commerce on there. Can I caution you? E-commerce is not to be trifled with. I don't think you want to write your own shopping cart. You don't want to write all those routines to accept credit cards. But you want to have it in your app. So can I make a suggestion? Do the same thing Uber did, and Lyft did, and Airbnb did, and GitHub does. Braintree makes it easy to accept almost any kind of payment with just a few lines of code. They do the hard stuff. They have the fraud protection. They have the know-how to make this thing work, to eliminate abandoned shopping carts. You're going to love it. I mean, what's the best part of Uber? Getting where you're going and getting out of the car, and the payment's handled. That's Braintree. When you see those buyable pins around the web, the Pinterest buyable pins, that's Braintree too. BraintreePayments.com/NSS. Take a look at what Braintree can do from you. From Apple Pay to Android Pay, even to Bitcoin and credit cards and Venmo and PayPal. All the different currencies in the world. It is simple. It's simple. It supports Android, iOS, JavaScript, .NET, Node.js, Java, Perl, PHP, Python, and Ruby. Elegant code, clear documentation, easy integration. And when a new kind of payment comes along, let Braintree do the work. You open up your Braintree control panel, you check the box, and you add it to your code. It's that easy. Braintree. BraintreePayments.com/NSS. And to kind of sweeten the pot, your first $50,000 in payments at Braintree are fee-free. BraintreePayments.com/NSS. Jason Howell, he's our sound guy. He's our go-to guy. He's a musician, of course, the host of Tech News Today every Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's, midnight UTC. We wanted him to take a look at these new Bose Bluetooth speakers. This is the new Bose Bluetooth Mini SoundLink II. Take a look.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason Howell, and I am interested in all things audio. It's kind of a passion of mine, including listening to music every morning. It's kind of a challenge I've given myself. One of the things that I've purchased to facilitate this is a little Bose speaker. I'm a huge fan of Bose products. This is the Bose SoundLink Mini II. This is a $200 speaker. So it is not inexpensive, I'd say, especially for this size. But I've always found Bose quality to be solid. You can see there's a little bass under here, and it snaps pretty easily to the bass. It just kind of sets right on top. You've got the bass always plugged in. You just pop this right on, and it'll charge up the battery, and it'll let you know. Not sure if you can hear that. Battery's 100. Oh, and it's connected to the OnePlus 3, which is what I'm using right now to send some music to it. We'll go ahead and start with a little Def Leppard. Never hurt anybody as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. For a little speaker, I would say this thing puts out some pretty decent sound. I do notice that if you turn it up just a little too loud, you start to get a little bit of a compression effect. It's just pushing the limits of the speaker underneath. But overall, I found this to be very good at kind of powering whatever the room happens to be that I'm trying to fill with the speakers. Some of the cool things that it can do on the top here, you've got all the different buttons, right? Power, volume up, volume down. The middle button is actually a multifunction button. So if I tap that, it starts playing my music. If I tap it again, it turns the music off. It also has other functionality around controlling Google Now or Siri. If I hold it, play Def Leppard. And you can see on my phone, it fired off a command to play Def Leppard. Now it's shuffling Def Leppard. Hey, what do you know? I don't know if I identify this song very easily, but there you go. Anyways, rubber buttons on the top. They have a nice tactile feel to them. You can also see the one button that I left out is Bluetooth. Obviously, I'm connected through Bluetooth, and I can deactivate that it's telling me that it's connected to my OnePlus 3. You can connect to 2 different devices simultaneously on this, but only one of them can actually send audio through at any given time. One thing I do like about this model versus the previous is it does have a USB, micro USB on the side for charging on the go. It also has an auxiliary input. So if I plug an auxiliary cord into there, it automatically recognizes that and it switches right over so I can channel the audio through the Bose SoundLink Mini II. Sound quality, I think it sounds pretty darn good for the smaller form factor. Good bass response, though it does max out if you get too loud. Make sure you have no extra EQ going on the device that you're sending audio from. Otherwise, it's going to overload this. Nice detail, decent separation of stereo image, considering the small form factor. Ultimately, I've been very happy with the sound considering its size. So Bose SoundLink Mini II, I'm loving it as a Bose fan. Really happy that I did pick this up. $200 might be a little pricey for something like a Bluetooth speaker, but with Bose, I figure anyways, you know you're paying for the quality there, and I think it's kind of worth it. It's a nice, solid device. That's it for my review of the Bose SoundLink Mini II. My name is Jason Howell. You can catch me all over the network, Tech News Today, all about Android, Android App Arena, wherever you want to find me. You might find me there, kind of like a Pokemon. All right, back to you.
Oh, he's paying too, I bet.
Had to get the Pokemon.
I bet.
reference in
Oh,
there.
man, I tell you. Thank you, Jason Howell. Grant is on the line. It's time for a call for help. Let's go to Akron, Ohio. Hello, Grant.
Hey Leo. Hey, Father Robert.
You look familiar. Have we met before?
I don't think so.
I guess all of our fans, I feel like I know them all, you know?
Yeah, I was on a couple of weeks ago now.
Weren't you?
No.
You look so familiar.
He's really evading the question here.
What's going
on?
I don't know. What faction is that flag from? What is that?
Oh, that's the Assyrian flag.
Oh, really?
It looks like a star U.
Are you Syrian?
No, Assyrian.
Oh, Assyria.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a ancient kingdom.
Ancient kingdom. I know it sounds biblical.
It sounded like, I thought he said
Isn't that where
Syrian
Gilgamesh and Nebuchadnezzar,
Yeah,
Meshach,
Babylon.
Shadrach,
Shadrach, and Abednego? I know. Remember the big oven? Oh man, who could forget, right? So I feel like my biblical knowledge might be a little scrambled up.
I think you might have messed the
A little
reference
bit
up with some
scrambled
other
up.
stuff. Yeah,
All right. Yeah. What can we do for you, Grant?
Yeah, so actually, I'm trying to put a Raspberry Pi inside of my amplifier, stereo amplifier that I have.
Yeah. To bake it?
And well, no, not to make the amp, to actually play music from the Raspberry Pi through the amplifier.
Oh, but why not have it in there? Like just be more compact.
Yeah.
Is there? And there's extra
hide it
space in the
inside,
amp,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually inspired by the old Screensaver show. I think Yoshi put a mini PC inside of an amplifier case.
God only knows. Yoshi was in Mad Men. Crazy. So you have imagine a way of controlling your Raspberry Pi?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna use some of the knobs. So it has a tuner for a radio. So I want to use that. I'm not really using the radio, so I'm going to use
the radio.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, replace the radio, the tuner for that, and then use the knob from that to control a screen.
I like this project.
This is actually really.
Thank God Father Robert's here because I wouldn't know the first place to start.
Here's the fun thing. Okay, you're definitely going to want to use a Raspberry Pi because the support for that is fantastic. The operating system that I would suggest is called OSMC. That's the Open Source Media Center. Fantastic.
So when you download Noobs, the first thing you do when you set up a Raspberry Pi, you have Noobs on the chip and you choose what operating system. Most people choose Raspberry, but OSMC is one of the choices.
Right.
Isn't
Well, yes, but it's even easier than that because if you go to the website, you can actually download an image that you just copy.
You don't even need Noobs.
You don't even need Noobs. It copies straight onto the SD card. You plug it in, and you're running OSMC. It's that simple. It's the easiest setup of a media center I have ever seen.
Is it based on XBMC or?
Yes. So
kind of looks like it.
They took XBMC and they brought it over, and it became OSMC. The nice thing about this is it supports pretty much every file format that I know. It's got immediate support for wirelessly connected remote control. So if you want to be able to do that, and
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, you're gonna like this. Really good support for external screens. So if you wanted to mount a screen on the front of the amp, you just wire it directly into the Raspberry Pi, and all your controls will be visible.
Do you think that could handle like a character LCD screen? Because that's what I'm trying to use is a LCD
Character
for
generator.
like a 2-line type 40 character
yeah,
deal.
yeah, it's four line, 20 characters.
That you'd connect to the GPIO, right?
Yeah,
You could.
yeah. And OSMC takes modules, so you just have to find a module that would support that particular display.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
What a
right
great
now
project.
I was using Raspbian Lite and then doing my own Python script to try and control it. So maybe that OSMC would be a little bit better.
It depends. It sounds like your needs are simple. The nice thing about OSMC is it becomes part of a full media center. But if all you really want to do is like say, okay, list the tracks on the micro SD card in the Raspberry Pi on this screen, and then use the scroller to scroll through it, and then somehow press a select button and play it, I think that would be easier, don't you? Just doing that in Python on the Raspbian.
Yeah, you could hack it together just using your own scripting. And I would advise you to do that if you feel comfortable with that. But the nice thing about OSMC is it's ready to go outside of the box. And not only will it give you the ability to play your entire music library as well as stream over the internet, because it does do that, but you can also play video. So if you wanted your media center to live inside your amp, you could take the HDMI out and plug it into your TV, and now you've got a complete home entertainment system.
That's the advantage of using OSMC.
Yeah, that would be an advantage. I mean, one of the points is I want to get away from having it connected to other things and just play music. But
it's going to be a standalone box, it sounds like, right? It's just the amp.
Yeah.
You know who would really know a lot about this? Aaron Newcomb, because he took a Raspberry Pi and made it an old-time radio player. And I'm trying to remember how he built it in an old radio. And I'm trying to remember if he connected the knobs on the radio to the Raspberry Pi. Those knobs are probably pots?
They're just pots. So what you do is you put them into the analog in on the Raspberry Pi, and it will get a value between 0 and whatever it is.
You'd have a loop in your Python script that just said, "What's the value? What's the value? What's the value? What's the value?" There you go, and it would just scroll through that 2-line display, up or down depending on the value. Right? If it's positive, up. If it's negative, down. And if it's more positive, scroll faster. If it's more negative, scroll faster. Something like that.
Oh yeah.
The fun thing is, if you did the script yourself, you could really kind of test it interactively. Say, well, let's see what happens. Yeah. Can you push the button in? Is there some way to select?
So yeah, right now I've been playing around with an encoder that you can keep spinning it, forever, and then you can has a push button select that so you can press the actual knob to select a song.
So the Python script would have to generate a list, would have to know where it is in the list, would have to move the screen up and down depending on how you turn the knob, and know what's visible in that list. I don't think that's so hard to do. So that when you punch the knob, it goes, oh, he wants to play that one. I think the logic's pretty straightforward.
Very straightforward. And actually, his way is far more accurate. If you use an encoder rather than an analog pot,
then you get numbers instead of
numbers rather than
voltages.
Values, right?
Yeah. It's not a continuous curve. It's stepped.
Well, that's a cool project. I may have to steal it for know-how.
Here's what you do,
Thanks.
Grant. Keep in touch, and as you go along, take pictures, make notes.
I will.
And then share that with. I mean, that's one of the great things about the community around Raspberry Pi is people do this stuff, and then they want to tell other people, hey, do you know what I did? And this is how I did it. And I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's done something similar if you search around.
I'm sure there's all kinds of things online. I may be moving out to the Bay Area in a month or two, so I'll bring it with me. I can show it to you guys.
I hope you do. Maybe that's it. My mind is probably in reverse time chrono mode, and I recognized him from the future. Is that possible?
Is this a Pokemon thing?
Yeah, probably. I'm playing too much of that game. I got to stop. And you wanted to know, I see on the question, if you could use Winamp. I would stay away from that. I would stay away from that.
I think we're done with Winamp.
That's what Yoshi used. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, it must be good.
Yeah, I don't think Yoshi was using Linux.
You could use Winamp if you had an amp that still had tubes. That would look really nice. But
What do you use for a media player if you're on Raspbian? I'm sure there's a number of choices.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
I've been using MPlayer. It's pretty
simple.
straightforward.
Yeah.
It seems like
It plays everything. Yeah.
so. And I'm also wondering if I can kind of parse the data from MPlayer and then display that on the LCD screen.
Oh, now he wants a moving light show on there. He wants the
So that's why you want to use Winamp.
anything you want to do. Yeah,
Okay.
forget that.
Actually-
just do your own little graphic equalizer and have it go.
No, OSMC actually has that.
Oh,
If you play music in OSMC, you can have it do the little
Nice.
equalizer bars.
nice. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. Really, mostly you've just got to become adept at that little
Yeah.
screen that you got there.
Yeah, that's the part I haven't really touched too much yet. So I'm waiting to get into that.
I think this sounds like a very fun project, Grant. Please bring it by when you're done.
Take a lot of pictures, take a lot of video, and you
I'll
know
take
what? We'd
pictures.
love
I'll
to
send-
show it off.
Yeah.
I'll send them your guys' way when
Yeah,
I
you
once
could be
I've
a guest on
finished.
Know How. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, I'd love to.
Thank you. That's great. Take care, Grant. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
All right.
Thanks.
And what is it about Assyria that you love so very much?
I mean, it's just a cool flag.
It's a great flag. It's a great
cool looking
flag.
flag.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
How long
Flag
ago was this the Assyrian Empire?
I think it collapsed in like 500 BC or something.
It's been a while.
They had great flags back then. didn't they?
They're still.
Our flags are so boring these days.
Man, that was such a
I
good
think it's a
flag.
little bit more modern than that, but they're still an ethnic group, but they just don't have a state.
And of course,
Where
the
is
flag is
where
right next
was
to the dartboard.
Assyria? It was in the Fertile Crescent.
The
probably.
cradle of civilization.
Fertile Crescent.
Like-
Fresno?
Fresno, right. Home of the raisin.
North of Babylon, I think.
North of Babylon.
San Jose?
South of the Pacific. Thank you so much. East of Eden
right.
and north of Babylon. I think that's the Bible verse.
That's about right.
Yeah. Thank you so,
Thanks.
thanks so much. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
It's funny because I have these like Adbrack, Schnabback, and
Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego.
I have those things in
They're
my
in there.
head.
They're in there.
So you touched a nerve, and then it went dead.
I cause brain damage.
Megan is our co-host next week, and she's going to be so brown. She's so tan. She just got back from Mexico. She was on vacation. She's going to be brown as a berry, but she will be answering your iOS questions. If you want to ask them, here's how you do that.
Need tech help? The new screensavers are here with answers. Email your tech questions to newscreensavers@twit.tv.
I will not forget. We were. It was 3 years ago that Lisa and I bought our house.
Oh, yes.
And we thought it'd be over. We had a vacation plan. We thought it'd all be over. The mortgage company kept wanting stacks of paper like this big, like boxes of reams of paper. And then it still wasn't done, and we had to go. The cruise was the boat was we had to get on the boat. So Lisa called her sister and said, Debbie, you have to sign all these documents with your name in lieu of whatever. There was some legal, anyway, it was paperwork like crazy. We'd never seen anything like it. And I wish Rocket Mortgage had been around then, Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans, because they've done it. It would have been so much easier. No more paperwork. You do it all online. You can send them your pay stubs with the click of a mouse. You can send them your bank statements. Boom. Mouse, did I say mouse? You can look at that. You can use your tablet. With a touch of a finger, you can do it. Rocket Mortgage is fast, completely online. They've taken all the complicated, time-consuming parts out of applying for a mortgage out of the equation, and you're going to get a tailored mortgage solution just right for your unique financial situation. Why? Because computers, my friends, technology finally enters. We were sending fax machines from the boat in the middle of the night. This is not the way to do it. I wish they'd had Rocket Mortgage. Well, now they do, and you can. If you're looking for a refi, if you're looking to buy a house, if you're looking to pre-qualify so you could buy a house, by the way, that makes you a much more desirable buyer. And in this tough market, that's a good thing to be. It's quick, it's online, and you can do it from your couch on your tablet or your phone or your computer. If you're looking to refi or buy a house, check out Rocket Mortgage today. QuickenLoans.com/NSS. It's QuickenLoans.com/NSS. MLS.com/NSS. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, and MLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030. Can you tell I worked in radio for many years?
Wow, that was really good.
We love Rocket Mortgage. We thank them so much for their support of the new screen savers. Others Machines is over here.
Oh, I can't wait.
Now, we were going to have them do this CNC milling while we were doing the show. Then they turned the machine on.
It's a little loud.
It's
a little bit.
Maybe a little, but get ready. We're going to do some milling. You can make your own PCB boards. You can make your own little gears. You can make your own metal buttons, like for your shirt. Metal buttons, kids. I know you've been on to do it. No, this is cool, actually. Desktop CNC and printed board milling. But first, Bryan Burnett with really, you know Bryan.
I do.
I think he used to work with him
on a daily basis.
On know-how. He turns out to be smart kid. He's going to tell you how you can wipe your Android phone without losing any data. Watch.
Bryan Burnett here, host of Know-How, and here are 3 tips for getting your Android phone running buttery smooth again. Even though my device is a Nexus 6P, a top-tier Android handset, I've still encountered some slowdowns after time. The first tip is easy. Clean your cache. Go to Settings, then Storage and USB. Tap on the cache data, tap OK to clear the cache data for all apps. Even with my large amount of internal storage, I've noticed certain apps will slow down as the cache reaches a gig or more. The most recent culprit for me was Snapchat stopped recording. If you're hesitant to clear the cache for all apps, you can drill down to the individual app by tapping on apps. I prefer clearing the entire cache, but it may marginally affect your mobile data rate as some apps will then have to re-download images or data. Now, the second tip is a new browser. Maybe you've noticed your web browsing has slowed down considerably. A few websites have been known to have very data-heavy ads on a page, making load times longer and causing you to use more data. One way around this is using a web browser that can block ads. My app of choice is the Brave browser. It has a few nice features like enabling HTTPS everywhere when possible and prevents certain ads from loading. Finally, the third tip is to fully factory reset your phone. Sometimes this is the last resort, but you will want to make sure that you've got all your valuable data backed up. If you're not using Google Photos, start now. You can back up all your photos to your Google Drive automatically. You can even drill down into which folders you want to back up and set it to back up only over Wi-Fi and when plugged into power. You can also enable Backup My Data and Automatic Restore so Wi-Fi passwords, call history, and app data will be saved to your Google Drive. If you're like me and you don't mind re-entering a few Wi-Fi passwords and app logins for that fresh feel of a clean restore, you don't have to re-download this data when you set up your phone after the reset. For extra protection from losing your important files, plug your phone into your PC, copy over any folders that have photos, docs, music, etc. You might lose saved game data depending on the game, but for example, Final Fantasy VI has a cloud saving feature, which is very handy when restoring a phone or playing on multiple devices. Now for reset, go to Backup and Reset and select Factory Data Reset. After a few minutes, you'll be greeted with a reset phone, and you'll have to re-enter your information as you would if it were a new phone. In the end, this might be a bit of a pain fully resetting your phone, but if you use a password manager like LastPass, logging back into apps is relatively easy, and this will give you a chance to install apps as you need them, getting rid of those that you just don't use anymore. With these tips, you'll keep your phone running smooth as the day you bought it.
Thank you, Bryan Burnett. Your pal, your buddy.
Yeah, and he is now playing Pokemon Go. He was going to be with me. We're going to be holdouts.
He playing?
He's now playing.
Ooh.
I know.
We actually have a display in the kitchen. Have you seen that?
Yes.
We have a whiteboard that lists everybody on the team, what their current standing is. There's a couple of people on yellow and blue. They're kind of like the outcasts.
The outliers.
Yeah, right. And then there it is. And then we post family pictures of.
Oh my goodness, everybody
ready. Has Pokemons.
Wait, do we have any yellows?
Yes, there's one yellow. He's underneath the Valor picture, the Team Valor picture.
Oh, sad.
We don't want to. It's Chris.
So if you want to play with Twit,
we actually
you need
had
to be
fire
Team
him
Valor.
because he's a Valor. He's no longer
Sorry,
with
Chris.
us. Rough. Thank you, Chris. Well, you know, you got to weed out the bad apples before they spoil the rest of us. Ezra Spier, is here. He's Vice President of Product and Software for OMC, the Other Machine Company. Hello, Ezra.
Hello,
It's
thanks
great
for
to
having
see
me.
you.
It's great
This
to be here.
is so freaking cool, but I am not a maker like Father Robert is, so we're going to let Father Robert ask you the tough questions. All I can say is this is cool. This is a desktop CDC. It looks like a 3D printer, but it's a CNC.
It looks like a 3D printer, but it's a CNC machine.
Computer
stands for computer numerical control.
Okay.
And these are in every factory around the world that's making metal parts and things like that. That's what they use to make the cases of iPhones and MacBooks and all those sorts of good things. And basically the way that it works is you put in a piece of material, so wood or plastic or metal, and then it uses a spinning bit, sort of like a drill bit, to mill away the material that you don't want. So if a 3D printer makes things layer by layer in an additive way, this is subtractive.
Yeah. Now, so a lot of people think, oh, it's kind of like a 3D printer, but CNC predated 3D printing by quite a while.
Some time.
Yeah.
And in fact, in industry, in the world of real manufacturing, it's used much, much more than 3D printing is.
Exactly.
Well, you mentioned Apple. The iPhone is a milled solid aluminum case that they CNC drilled out, right?
Exactly.
They emptied out. So I love the idea of having it on my desktop. Now we should warn people, it's not $100. It's how much?
This one is the Other Mill Pro, which we just launched this spring, is $3,199.
That sounds like a lot, but if you look at CNC milling, that's really expensive. So that's actually very affordable.
Sure, and most CNC mills are tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And what we tried to do with the Other Mill Pro is to focus on small parts that are really precise. So oftentimes, even if you were a factory and could afford a huge mill, you're making big things, and this is for small things.
What kind of tolerances are you?
We're talking about 1,000th of an inch.
Wow.
Okay. No, but I have to ask this because our audience is pretty tech savvy, and a lot of them are going to say this looks a lot like a 3D printer. You've got NEMA 17 stepper motors. You've got some sort of controller underneath that's converting a slice into the actions of the motors. They'd think, well, why don't I just put a Dremel tool on the bottom of where the hot end goes for a 3D printer, and I could have something for $1,000.
Sure, you go ahead and
What makes
do
this
that.
so expensive?
I would say to address the specific question of why can't you just use a Dremel, it's vibration, rigidity, and run out. And so that's a bit technical, but basically what we need is we need that bit that we're spinning to stay in the same place. And Dremels, even though you can't see it with your eye, is wiggling back and forth. And so if you're trying to make, say, a circuit board that has a 6 mil trace in space, or something that's really precise, that's going to totally destroy everything that you've made.
And I have a visual answer. This is a wooden Lego block. Now, if you've ever tried to 3D print a Lego block,
You can't.
You don't have the precision. You don't have the detail. This is exact. These work with regular Legos.
And what I love about these Lego blocks, these were sent to us by a customer, Andy Wilson, who didn't have a whole lot of experience with CNC when he started.
This was his
taught
first?
himself. This wasn't his first project, but he actually has done a bunch of Instructables and a bunch of other things.
So you can 3D print Lego blocks, but they would never do that.
They wouldn't fit together
The tolerances
perfectly.
are never right.
And one of the challenges with a CNC mill like this is that you're milling from the top. So you can't, unlike a 3D printer, 3D printers, you can't have overhangs. It's sort of, you're only milling from one direction. And so he actually had to mill this in 2 steps. He milled the tops and the bottom separately.
Makes sense. Yeah.
It all lines up.
It does. It's perfect. It's amazing.
Now, could I take, say, an STL file that I used for a 3D printer and then just move it over to this using a different slicing program?
Kind of.
Kind of.
The world of CNC is a little bit behind the world of 3D printing in the software workflow.
Okay.
And I can show you when we do the demo, but in this case, you need to use a kind of software called CAM. And so basically, you take your STL file or your step file, and you have to convert it into tool paths. And tool paths are just the geometry that the bit is going to cut out. And the reason why that you have to do this yourself is that the machine doesn't know what kind of material you're using or what bit you're using.
Right.
With the 3D printer, there's usually
It's
one or
always
two
filament.
kinds.
It's
always
PLA,
filament.
it's ABS,
It's
it's one of the
ABS. You
two.
just choose one or the other. But with a mill, you can choose an 1/8 inch bit. You can choose a tiny 1/100th inch bit. If you try to cut with a tiny bit into a piece of aluminum and it's going too fast, you're just going to break it. And so,
Because for me, I think that's the holy grail of printing, which would be fast prototype something on a 3D printer. Once it looks the way I want it, then I put it on the more expensive machine and I make that final cut out of copper or wood, whatever it's going to be.
So a lot of our customers use the Other Mill Pro to make circuit boards. And if you've ever made a circuit board by hand, you know that it's not a very pleasant experience.
It's kind of cancery. You get you actually can get cancer from the chemicals you need to etch.
So these are plastic boards. They have metal on top, copper conductive metal on top, and the idea is you want to etch the copper where you don't want it to conduct. And you would do that with chemicals in the past, right?
Right, yeah, it's light sensitive, so you would put the trace down of what you want, and then you would shine light through it, and then you would give it a chemical bath, and wherever the light landed, it would eat away.
Interesting.
Yeah, so in this case, I just take this, and I go ahead and I tell this to dig through the copper down to the substrate, and that becomes my blank space.
It's almost like engraving the board.
Exactly. And so what you're holding right now is what we call the Otherduino, which is a open source design that we made that is a clone of an Arduino. So you can make your own Arduinos. I actually have the PCB layout open on my computer screen. But what's so great about this is you don't have to do the CAM. So our software takes the Eagle board file or the Gerbers, just the normal design files that you're using, and does all of the feeds and speeds and tools and stuff for you. So it's really easy.
Now this was also a bane of mine. These little through holes, because that was always something I had to drill out afterwards. And it was horrible if you did a design and then you messed it up because you drilled it out poorly, you cracked the board. Did you have to post-process this?
No, it just comes automatically.
So it does the holes for you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very, very
So
easy.
you're engraving and you're drilling.
Drilling, you're doing all that stuff all together. And so for us, this is sort of an Arduino, it's sort of a maker kind of project, but a lot of professionals use this too. That's why I call it the Othermill Pro. When we were going to design the Othermill, we had to...
Is that real speed? Or is that sped up at all?
I think that was real speed.
Wow.
Well, why don't we do something while we're talking?
Yeah, totally. Well,
so we can actually see the real speed.
Absolutely. Well, let me show you.
Aren't these gears amazing?
Yeah,
that's the thing. The precision you have and the materials you're working with. It's not PLA. This is metal.
That's brass. I have some aluminum over on the table. This is one of my favorites. This is a wood inlay. So it's wood, and then that's mother of pearl, like you'd use for a fretboard.
Oh, that's gorgeous. So they engraved out the wood for the mother of pearl.
Right, and then engraved the mother of pearl.
And then cut the mother of pearl to fit it.
And there's no glue. It's just holding in there by...
That's a really good example of where that precision really comes in handy. So what are you going to do for us
today what I'm going to do is to show you something really fast and simple. We're going to do a TWIT engraved dog tag.
Okay, you got a little anodized aluminum.
Anodized aluminum.
All right.
So what I want to show you is sort of the whole process of design to manufacturing. And so on my screen, I'm using a piece of software called Autodesk Fusion 360. And it's a really popular, really fantastic, free for hobbyists, a 3D design program. So what I did here is I modeled sort of this rectangle, which is the shape of the dog tag, and I loaded in an SVG file of the logo, and I placed it on here sort of where I want it to go. But now I can switch over to CAM, this is what we were talking about before, and we can set up tool paths. And so what I did is I told it sort of the size of the material that I have. I told it what tool I'm going to use. I'm going to use one of these really sharp engraving tools. And to set up an engraving tool path, I can go in here and you can see I'm telling it how fast I want the spindle to turn and what feed rates to use and so forth. And I'm telling it to mill down just 2,000th of an inch, so just a little tiny bit.
You just want to break through the anodized layer.
Exactly. I just want that metal color below to come through. And this looks a little bit complicated, but I taught this to myself, and most of our customers are able to learn it with Autodesk documentation on their own. It's not that hard.
By the way, a great way to give this to a teenager, and he'll be able to get a job.
Right.
Totally.
Right?
Exactly.
He'll know how to do sophisticated machine milling. That's good. That's good skill.
I'm working on a little Etsy side business as well. That's fun.
No kidding.
So I'm just saving what's called G-code from
Autodesk, of course,
from Fusion 360. And G-code is just it is like programming code from the 50s basically, and it's just says turn on the motor, go here, go here. It's just simple geometry.
And that's what the machine understands.
And that's what the machine understands.
Yeah, that's the slicing. So at some point you have to turn the model into instructions, and that's what G-code does.
So now I popped open Otherplan, which is the software that my company makes. And the first thing that I'm going to do is home the machine. So this just pulls all the axes back to home, make sure it knows where
So you're controlling the machine directly through Otherplan.
Through Otherplan. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my file I just saved. So I'll pull up the TWIT G-code file and tell it which tool I want to use. And you can see here on the preview, it's a little bit hard to see right now, but you can see that it's showing the location where it's going to be milling. And what's so unique about Otherplan is if you've ever tried to use a mill before, you've seen these huge panels with numbers and letters and keyboard, and it's really complicated, and you got to take a course to learn how to use it. And if you get it wrong, well, oof, you don't want to pay the bill for that. But with this, it's really simple. So I've loaded the file. I've preset the size of the material. I actually have one of these blank dog tags just taped down to the machine, just using this really awesome double stick tape. I've never had as
Super
much
high
love
tech.
That's
for
all you
tape.
need, huh?
Yeah. This is better than duct tape. It's my favorite.
How many? Well, go ahead and start.
Sure. And then finally, I'm going to locate the tool. So right now I have a engraving tool inserted into the machine.
So as it moves in the software, it's actually moving
exactly.
in real
and
world.
what I want to do is I would replace the tool, and I want to locate it. So what that means, it's going to lower down to the top of the bed. And when it touches, it'll complete electrical circuit. And it'll zero it out. And so unless you do that, the machine doesn't know where the tool is. And so
It's
really
calibrating. It's calibrating itself.
Look at that.
So it's really just lowers down.
So it knows exactly where the platform is.
Exactly.
And if you have it miscalibrated at all, that becomes your margin of error.
Well, we're talking about 0.02 of an inch here. So if you're off by even a tiny bit, it could destroy your part or break your bed.
Does it have some sort of protection so you don't accidentally drill down through the bed?
We just added a new feature that basically simulates your job and gives you a warning if that's going to happen. So
good thinking. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hit go. It'll be a little bit loud.
Should we be wearing glasses?
No.
We probably should, but
it's
you know
got
what, Leo?
safety windows.
Oh, it's all sealed in. Okay,
yeah,
good.
it's all sealed. It's safe. So you can hear
what tools does it come with?
It comes with a 1/32 inch flatted mill and a 1/64 inch flatted mill. These are standard engineering parts, though. You can just buy them from us or from McMaster Car or wherever
all
you
right.
like to buy
You don't have to get your particular.
No.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really fast.
And these last how long?
It depends on what you're milling. If you're milling aluminum, it's going to take a really long time. It might go a little bit faster. So you can see here.
It's really doing it fast.
That's awesome.
It's going fast.
Anybody who's used to
Oh my goodness.
3D printing
Yeah.
is expecting, we'll get back to you in a month.
That's
That's done. Wow.
So that's it. We're done.
You could have an Etsy business.
You
at-
really
at
could.
Fast
Yeah,
enough.
if you look at it though, it didn't go all the way down. So this is one of those cases where you just measure, and sometimes
Right.
the tolerances don't quite line up. But
we can redo
we
it,
can
right?
redo it, and it's super
because
easy.
it's just a little
It just
deeper. Takes time.
Takes 30
Yeah.
seconds. So
Yeah.
that's how it works. And so whether you're doing a circuit board or you're doing a complicated metal
This
part
would be
for a new
fun.
device,
I mean, look,
how it
right now
works.
I breadboard all my Arduino circuits because I don't like printing boards, but this would be
This would be-
faster than
and then
breadboard.
you'd have PCBs.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh,
And it'd be
yes.
more stable, more reliable.
Uncle
Fewer
Leo.
bugs. Nope. No way. Don't even ask. Nope. Mm-mm. Lisa,
Nope, don't even ask.
I want one. That is awesome. That is really, really. Is it available now?
it's available now. This is a brand new model, and we'll be shipping in about 10 weeks.
Okay. So you're pre-ordering now.
Pre-ordering. We make them in Berkeley, California, just
Nice.
across the bay, and we're shipping them as fast as we possibly can.
Wow. That is. It's so exciting. The world we live in, and boy, if you look at I said buttons. I meant buttons. These are metal buttons. I want to replace all the buttons on my shirt with metal buttons. Look at that.
The only negative I can see is it's now making me look at my 3D printers with disdain.
I know.
It's like, oh,
I know.
you print plastic?
Plastic.
Well, but you can put your 3D printed parts in here and mill them.
I
too.
know,
So,
exactly.
A lot of people sort of say, "Oh, how do you feel about 3D printers? You must hate 3D printers." And no, of course not. 3D printers are amazing.
They're
but
a great
this-
prototype device.
And this opens up a whole other set of possibilities.
Well,
they work together.
I could see
great.
making 3D objects that then get rooted
Oh,
out.
so that's what's happening here. These are milled 3D objects.
Right, exactly.
Here,
so
why
this
don't you hand
is
me?
half of a yo-yo.
Oh, and
this
you know
is
what?
a
It's so
little-
much more precise and clean than the 3D
So
original.
that's half a
would have
yo.
been.
That's only the yo.
That's the yo.
That's the yo.
There's the yo.
There's
But
the other
feel how
yo.
clean that is,
I know, right?
You can actually get the files for this on Instructables.
There are no 3D printers that will print this smooth.
So you
Just
print
at all.
it, kind of normally, and then you just refine it a little bit with the other.
Sure. Well,
Very
that
neat.
was fully milled.
This is fully milled,
Yep.
so it's just a chunk of plastic.
See, this would change the way I do my design because right now I assume that the tolerance is going to be slightly off, so
Right.
I kind of enlarge my prints a
Right,
tiny bit.
right.
I wouldn't have to do that. If I could say 3 millimeters is going to be exactly 3 millimeters, then I print exactly the part that I need.
A lot to be said for precision. Ezra Spier, thank you so much. VP Product and Software for Other Machine Company. What's your website?
Othermachine.co.
Well, that's easy. Othermachine.co. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Our mailbag's coming up next, but first, Megan Morrone, host of Tech News Today and iOS Today, with a little tale about a new social network that pays you. It's called IMZY. Watch.
This is a new segment I'm calling 90 Seconds On, where I tell you about what I'm excited about in 90 seconds or less. Let's get started. Today, it's 90 Seconds on IMZY, a new online community that wants people to be nicer to each other. IMZY is like Reddit, no surprise since it was founded by former Reddit employees. Here's what's the same. On both sites, people can come together online to discuss shared interests and particular topics that the community creates as the need arises. On both sites, you can be anonymous if you want and use a pseudonym if you want. Here's what's different. IMZY is setting out right from the start to focus on being healthy and positive. On IMZY, you can only create one pseudonym in each community to keep people from creating multiple identities just for harassment. And there's another twist. You get paid to be nice. That's right. You can tip your moderator if he or she is doing a good job, sharing great stuff, or just keeping the community healthy and happy. Monetary incentives are tricky, but they might just work here. Some of the same people who funded Patreon have also helped fund IMZY. IMZY already has all the obvious boards, science, tech, fitness, pets, but like Reddit, they can get pretty niche too. There's a group for tea lovers, for trans gamers, and even My Little Pony. And there's a Twit group, so come join us there. IMZY is just a website right now at imzy.com, but they are working on an iOS and an Android app.
You can't drive around playing Pokemon Go because it knows. It's probably true for Ingress, right? That you're going too fast. But it turns out they don't want to discriminate against people who can run really fast. So the Segway, which goes 12.5 miles an hour, they're not sure that you're in a car, really. So it counts. Counts as your miles.
Now, could you put this on one of those 9bots and just have it go back and forth so it thinks you're walking?
So I've gone 29 kilometers. That's the other thing. This really, I think, is a secret plan to get us to go metric. 29 kilometers, which is about 18 miles.
Just about.
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
That's 18 miles of walking in the last 10 days that I probably would have done half as much. Although...
Yeah, what you seem to have some sort of injury. Is this a Pokemon-related injury?
Okay, so I'm walking into work this morning.
Oh, no.
And Lisa and I are walking in, and we're going like this as we walk, because you don't want to miss one,
of
right?
Course not. Yeah.
And then I think, oh, it probably isn't safe for me to do that. I put this in my pocket, stumbled and fell. So Pokemon could have saved me, but no, and I'm all banged up.
You're the only person to get injured from not
playing Pokemon Go. So I rest my case, right? It's time for the mailbag. Father Robert, it's always fun to do this show.
It is. You're on fire today. This is a good weekend.
I'm on fuego.
You're on fuego,
as we say. Throw me the magic mailbox. Oh! Open in case of server outage. Wow, this is Pokemon, the actual card game.
Did you ever play Pokemon the card game?
My kids did. They loved it.
I actually still enjoy it. I have it on Game Boy.
It's actually a pretty good game.
Yeah.
We used to stop, every time we go by a 7-Eleven, when Henry was about 10, it says, stop, got to get a pack, because you get the pack and you hope you get the foil cards, you know, the extra powerful ones, the Pikachu and all of that. And one of our staffers is pretty young, he's about Henry's age, Kevin. You can say, all right, what's best against a fire Pokemon?
Water Pokemon. What?
I guess you know it too. No, he's really good. This is probably from his. Is there stuff? Can I open it? Is there stuff in here? Oh my
no,
God.
that's
a foil card.
Actual set. Ooh.
This is real, and that's one of those special cards I was talking about. The foil cards. Those are really good.
Wait, what is that? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is, and by the way, Kevin was quick to tell me, you know, it didn't start with the card game. It was a card game and the Nintendo game kind of at the same time. In the U.S., the card game started first.
I always thought it was the card game, then the video
That's
game.
what I thought, and I said that out loud, and he had to correct me.
Yeah.
Xerneas EX.
So that's one of those new. I am down with the original Pokemon. That's the only ones I know.
This is what we used to. Gosh, this is what we used to go and buy. Is these packs? They're kind of like, and you know, I didn't mind doing it because I remember from my youth, baseball cards. This is very much like
you couldn't battle baseball cards.
You know what pisses me off? There's no bubble gum in here.
Well, you mean that sawdust bubble gum that you could use to hold up walls?
It didn't matter. It was bad, stale bubble gum. What kind of cheap operation are they running here? Jeez Louise. Wow, where'd we get this? Where?
Oh, they
Target?
still sell these?
They still sell them.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah, it's like Magic. If you played Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
Very similar.
That's the one I really remember because that's what made
that was more your
high schools everywhere.
Your age. Yeah. Pokemon would go. The card game was a little bit later for our of us. It's time for the mailbag.
I do like this part of the show.
Why don't you go first?
All right.
Wait a minute.
Oh, no. I'll get this one. Here we go. I watched the couple of episodes where you talked about SSDs. One thing that I haven't been able to find out, is there any way to test to see if a motherboard is NVMe compatible? I've read that the BIOS must support it, but then other sites just say that you need a UEFI BIOS. Also, is it limited to specific chipsets and processor generations? For example, I have a Supermicro C7X99-OCE motherboard at home, and when I bought it, they touted future NVMe compatibility. I already have a Samsung 850 Pro in there, but I wouldn't mind going to a larger NVMe drive. I don't want to go and buy an NVMe drive and only find out after the fact that NVMe isn't supported. Any help and information would be greatly appreciated.
We had IDE drives. Intelligent design, internal, I don't know, design
integrated device electronics.
That's it, something like that. And then we replaced those with serial ATA, SATA drives. NVMe is the successor to SATA?
Right, because SATA is going to top out because of
6 gigabytes per second.
Yeah, exactly. And we are needing more, so now we're doing PCI connected devices that can do 1 gigabit per second.
So this is related to PCIe, the PCI Express device.
Right, well, it's something that complements it. So it's a different way of accessing the device that's much faster and opens up the door for more specialized applications that can directly access storage.
So you'd have to have a PCIe slot.
Or something like an M.2, which is
another
PCIe.
way of doing it.
Right.
It's a PCIe designed for these little cards. We have that on our Ultimate VR gaming machine. And I'm guessing if you looked at the box, it would tell you.
Yeah, see, this is one of those transition times where we will eventually have everything in NVMe. Yeah. But remember when we went from RLL, or what was it before RLL?
MFM.
MFM to RLL, RLL to IDE, IDE to SATA. There was
always
ways
of encoding data.
Exactly. There was always that sort of couple of years where they overlap.
Yeah.
You're seeing that now. You have devices that will support NVMe as well as the old SATA standard.
Your Supermicro motherboard, I just bought a Supermicro motherboard, probably does both, right?
Right.
Now, I don't know what NVMe ready means.
NVMe ready is a nice marketing technique to tell people, yeah, this will probably support NVMe when we upgrade it to support NVMe. Maybe.
But it would have to be upgraded in BIOS first, yes?
Correct. The motherboard would have to support it. And what I've found is about half of the motherboards that were touted as NVMe ready will just never get updated to NVMe because they're going to figure it's been 2 years, they're going to buy another board.
So really, I can't answer your question for that specific board, but that should be an easy enough Google search. Look on the forums, their enthusiast forums, and see whether they've upgraded it. So ready, as it did with HDTV, ready only meant could be capable if we get around to doing the software thing we need to do.
Precisely. Like technically, I am child ready.
Right.
But
that ain't gonna happen.
No.
God, I hope not. So okay, and actually, ironically, I'm not. So it really no. So you can. So you want to find out, did Supermicro upgrade that particular motherboard with a? And it would have been a BIOS upgrade.
Exactly. And you know what? This is really one of those things. Go to the manufacturer's website, and remember, it's not just model number. Check revision because things can change between revisions.
Right.
That's really the only dependable way to find out whether or not the product you're going to buy actually does really right now, as you buy it, support NVMe.
I'm building a new machine because I'm kind of experimenting. I'll write a blog post about this with the idea of, could I live, not on Mac, not on Windows, not even on Linux, could I live on FreeBSD, on the original, hardcore Unix? Ooh, I know. So I'm building a box, and I have to make sure it's completely compatible. I've gone to a FreeBSD integrator to help me with that. But I'm going to get a Supermicro motherboard because I want a Xeon chip, right? And it has NVMe plus SATA, so I'm going to have SATA SSDs. Because I want to use ZFS, the new file system.
Of course.
So you want multiple hard drives. It's kind of RAID, but better than RAID. You don't want to use RAID, you want to use ZFS. So I've got an NVMe boot drive. That's the fastest, right? M.2. And then Samsung Evo drives for the data drives. That's pretty fast, too.
That's pretty much what you want.
SATA 3, right?
Yeah. Now,
we'll see.
I love doing those alternate operating systems, but it always comes down to device support. And if it doesn't support the device that you want,
That's why I went to this
kills.
company, ABMX. They sell FreeSPD servers and workstations. And I said to them, this is what I want to do, but I want to make sure this will run everything, the drivers will exist. And they said, yes, we certified. This will run FreeBSD.
That's what you want.
And that was the option, was, okay, I could go to Newegg, I could do what, you know, our writer, our correspondent did, and hope that it's going to all work. Nice to know that it will. Yeah. This one from Eileen. I'm wondering what the best options are for us to watch movies on the road. With spotty data coverage, minimal storage on our phones, we can't rely on Netflix as I'd like to. So I'm looking at a way of downloading movies to our laptops or getting a portable device, laptop, and a Wi-Fi drive that would give us enough storage to hold 10 to 15 movies for the kids to choose from, and streaming capability to 2 phones, one Android, one iPhone. And you seem to have one in your hand. I don't know, what did you have that in your pocket?
Yeah, this is a Rauchwerk. This is actually a file server. A file server / hotspot / Wi-Fi storage array.
Seagate kind of started this category with the Go drives, right? These were hard drives that have Wi-Fi built in. So you would load them up as a normal USB drive, take them on the road, turn them on, they'd be a Wi-Fi access point. Your phones could join and play back movies from the drive.
Precisely.
And this does the same thing.
This does the same thing. It's got a 3,000 milliamp hour battery in here, so it's going to last a nice long time. It's got 2 slots, SD card slot, where I've got a 32 gigabyte card, and then this is USB. Now you can either hook up any USB device and it will share it with any device that connects to this over the Wi-Fi, or you could put, say, a USB dongle for wireless access and give everyone access to the internet. Now, the nice thing about this is it's actually really fast. It will work on PC, on Mac, on Android or iOS.
Anything with Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, so this, right now, this application is connected to this. I could also
That's the stuff on the drive.
Correct. I could just browse to it, and it's actually really fast. So if I press something...
Look at that. That was
there
instant.
we go. It's nice. And this is probably the best way I've found to share media, because you can make multiple SD cards, and those are really cheap with different types of content.
So the Rauchwerk doesn't have storage on its own. It uses SD cards.
Correct.
But what it does provide is it's like a battery with an SD card slot.
Yeah.
That's cool. And it doesn't have Wi-Fi built in, or does it?
It does. So that is a Wi-Fi hotspot. So this is connected to that via Wi-Fi.
That is cool.
And I think I can do 10 devices at the same time without appreciable slowdown.
How much is that?
This is $30.
What?
It's super, super inexpensive.
What?
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Now, but this is one part of the solution. Here's the other part. And this is what's going to save you on that long family trip. Yes, you could put movies on this, and yeah, you can download pretty much any format that will be working on iOS, Android, because it looks just like attached storage. However,
not copy protected movies.
Not copy protected. But Anthony, if you go to that link I gave you, this is Save From Net. Very easy. This is a website. I can take any of those online services, any video from that. I just put the URL in there, and it will download the video. I can put that video on the SD card, and it will play on any device that's connected. So if your children love Minecraft videos, download a bunch of Minecraft videos.
All the Minecraft videos from YouTube.
There you go. There you go.
And save them to the hard drive. That's actually a great idea. YouTube on the go. I wonder if it's okay, but
it's probably not probably. It violates the terms of service. But you know what?
What are they gonna? Come on.
6 hours into that 18-hour drive, you're not really going to care about the terms of service.
So Rauchwerk, it's on Amazon, about $30. This is 3,000 milliamp hours. So that you think maybe 6 hours, 8 hours?
Maybe even longer than that. Really? And you can charge your device off of that. So you could, if you're really running out of power, you can suck power out of that. That's a battery bank.
That's pretty good. It looks like 7.5 watts coming out of the USB charger. You are a font of knowledge, my friend.
I just like gadgets.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Thank you. Father Robert Ballecer, he's the host of This Week in Enterprise Tech and the host of Know How, and does great work, and we appreciate it. Now, are you going to be leaving us at any point?
At some point next year. So next June, I have to go away for 2 months.
As part of your training as a priest?
Correct. But on the good side, originally I was going to be off the grid for a year.
Yeah, we were worried about that.
Right. But my superiors actually contacted me, and they're like, you know what, we like the work that you do at TWiT.
Nice.
Why don't we split up your experience over several summers, and then you can just go away for a few months and come back. I'm like, oh, sure, let's do that.
Great. Society of Jesuits. They call him the Digital Jesuit. And one of the reasons the church likes Father Robert is because here's a guy, a priest, who's actually out there in the world doing amazing stuff, exciting, interesting stuff. And I think it's great. It's great PR for the church, and it's great for us. We love it.
And it lets me do my passion. I mean,
you get to keep doing what you love.
This is Disneyland for me. You got to remember. I mean, I go way back. I was one of the first people listening to Twit.
You were always a geek.
I was always a geek, and I still remember. I was in the warehouse in Burlingame setting up for Interop. I was networking everything together, and you were doing the tech guy, and you said, "Hey, Father Ballecer, I hear you do enterprise. Why don't you come up to Petaluma and I'll put you on Twit?" And I just drove straight up.
Did I really?
Yeah, that was it.
I don't remember that. I think it's apocryphal. But anyway, it's great to have you. We love working with you. Father Robert Ballecer, the Digital Jesuit. I'm Leo Laporte. We're so glad you're here for the new Screensavers. We do it each and every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2200 UTC. If you want to watch live, be in the chat room at irc.twit.tv. That's wonderful. You can also join us in our studio audience. And, you know, Saturday afternoon is hard to get up to Petaluma. There's a lot of traffic from San Francisco. If you're coming from the north, it's not so bad, but we would love to have you here. So email tickets@twit.tv. Let us know. We'll put a chair out for you. Leave a little early, maybe like allow a couple hours to get up from San Francisco. But I think it'll be worth your while. It's a lot of fun. If you can't be here in person or you can't be here on the stream, don't forget, audio and video of all of our shows available after the fact. We call it video on demand and audio on demand. Somebody sent me an email saying, "I hate it when you thank viewers. I listen." We love listeners too. Just go to twit.tv and you'll find your favorite show, or YouTube. We're on YouTube. We're on every podcatcher known to man or beast. Make sure you subscribe, though. You don't want to miss an episode of the new Screensavers. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Saturday. Bye-bye, everybody. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Now it's Pokemon time, I'm assuming.
Now comes Pokemon time. When it's time